Steven. I don't know where I'm going to do, man. I accidentally dropped acid in the school lunches today.
Well, what are we gonna do with you? Think of the kids, Will. The
I'm
kids.
sorry, man. To make a concern, it's a cool podcast. Listen with your friends or listen with your dog, man. Subscribe today or I'll be in your closet. To make a concern, that's a really cool podcast. Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of To Make a Concern. We are back once again with another episode for y'all. I am Will, and the man to my left, or my right, because I never know how it's going to be exported, is Steven. And we are both the best podcasters in the world. We have the best podcast in the world. That is from everybody's opinion. This is not just mine, not my biased opinion.
Just go read the comments, all one of them. That definitely wasn't posted by Will himself. It was definitely a legitimate viewer. Steven's camera has decided to defocus.
We actually hold the record for the most subscribers, but the thing is, YouTube actually doesn't like our success, so they're deleting all of them, all but a couple, just to give the impression that we're a small channel.
Because they just can't handle a channel of our size reaching our level of success in such a short amount of time.
The title of this episode is the YouTube conspiracy.
Why everybody's quitting YouTube.
Why we're actually the best channel.
Soon to be the only channel.
Yeah. And I'm, of course, joking. We are obviously known as the worst podcasters in the world.
Yes, widely known. Everybody knows that.
And YouTube is actually giving us views as a sort of like pity.
Wow.
That's the real story right there, unfortunately. So
Nah, I've told Will several times we just need to get into the shorts market. If we just made shorts, people would watch them.
Yeah, that's something I definitely need to do. Anyways, let's get on with the episode. So, to begin this, we're actually going to talk about something that came up last minute before we started, and that's the fact that because we both live in Alabama, we're no stranger to a bunch of weather shenanigans. Isn't that right, Steven?
Yeah. There's lots of crazy stuff that happens down here, you know?
Actually, okay, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, wait. Let me go ahead and address this too. Obviously, yes, it's been a while since we've been back, and we're actually going to be changing a couple things about our podcast.
Yeah, that's right, because we didn't upload the last episode. Sorry, breaking the fourth wall. We recorded an episode prior to this one that was supposed to come out last week, but apparently something happened with the audio that Will didn't like, so he ended up not uploading it, so we didn't have an episode last week.
I'll play a clip of it right now just so y'all know what the audio sounds like. So, yeah, that's essentially what it sounded like, and I didn't want to release an entire episode like that because, well, yeah, so our podcasts are usually annoying. It'd be even more annoying if you had to hear my robotic tone for the entire episode. It was a great episode, too. I hated the fact that I didn't want to release it, but it's just like... So before this episode, we did a little test run, and after that test run, that's when we saw the notification. That's when I first got the notification, and then Steven also got the notification.
Okay, because Will was saying like he said he was checking his phone for like last minute notifications before he started the podcast, and there was like stuff from his college about winter weather going on.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be like really cold tomorrow. And then I was just like, oh, I'm curious if my college is saying anything about that. So I pick up my phone and I have an email from the campus safety and security that's also talking about the cold weather.
Every single college in this state is just like, at once, they all just like, boom, just like that. And it's like, we gotta send this out.
I mean, to be fair, there is like a freeze warning or something like that from the National Weather Service or something. I don't know.
So
And
it's not that
basically, the
unbelievable.
long and short of it is it's gonna get cold. That's kind of all it is. But you know
And by the
how,
time this episode comes out, that's going to be irrelevant information. But the reason why I wanted to
yeah.
talk about this was the fact that my campus is like closing off like in-person classes, while Steven, his campus, they're still having in-person classes.
Yeah, Will's was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be closing all but one of the dining halls, and all the on-campus classes are not gonna happen. We're gonna be having remote operations or stuff
Yeah.
like that." And then my email is like, "We don't expect this to impact any campus operations."
What I like too about the email is like it lists off a bunch of buildings being closed, including like all the classes and stuff, but also like the libraries being closed, stuff like that. But our recreational center is still staying open, so it's just like, look, we're comfortable with closing our classes, our in-person classes in our library, but we are not gonna let go of our recreational center. We are keeping that throughout any weather.
Yeah, it's a good thing they have their priorities straight.
That was my favorite part of the email when it said that.
So yeah, that's what's
That's
been
what they
going
said
on.
verbatim. They were like, "We're comfortable with this, but we're keeping this." That's what the entire email said. Nothing else. Just like, but yeah, that was just a little something that we got before the episode started. By the time this episode is recording, it's like Monday and it's gonna be released on Friday. So, like I said, by the time it comes out, it's gonna be irrelevant. But just wanted to talk about it because it's just funny how they keep these buildings like the recreational center, but then everything else, no,
No.
too risky.
Classes? No.
Too-
Dining halls? No. Library? No. Recreation center? Yeah.
Like people should not be risking their lives for education. They should be risking their lives to go to, lifting weights.
Yeah. Honestly.
And it was just like, yeah. So yeah. So moving on from that, I also wanted to take a little bit of time. One other thing I forgot to mention as well about how we're going to be doing episodes. We're getting rid of the Kanye segment.
Oh yeah.
We're not doing that no more.
It's kind of lost its effect on me because we already talked about it in the last episode that didn't get uploaded.
Yeah. It was our last episode was supposed to be your big return, so I saved a lot of our best stuff for that. But now I don't want to retread it, so it's just like all of that's just like, yeah.
We just gotta make
And
an
it's
even
like,
bigger and better return.
but yeah, this return is just kind of like hey, we're here still. But let me explain a little bit why the Kanye segment is something we're not doing no more. Last year or like about a year ago when we did the Kanye segment, it was one of those things where it's like Kanye news was like coming out like every single day, and it was like getting memed. Like it was becoming a huge meme. Everything he was doing, like all the antics that were happening. So it was fun to extent to like talk about it and just like be like, "It's our silly little guy Kanye West," and it's like, "Here's our silly little segment called the Kanye segment." But nowadays, it's just like it's one of those things where it's like he's still doing antics and stuff, but now it's just not fun anymore because the general public has lost interest in his antics and they've just moved on. Like his fans and people in the hip hop scene are still paying attention, but I'm just saying like the general public are not making memes out of anything he does anymore, and it's just not fun to talk about. So that and the joke kind of got old as well, the Kanye segment. So that's why we're getting rid of it. So just wanted to explain that if there's anything interesting about Kanye, we'll talk about it, but we're not gonna make it a weekly segment because it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, the rule of nothing political unless it can be somehow related to Kanye still stands. We're just not having a weekly segment about it anymore.
Yeah. So we just wanted to talk about that. But with that said, Steven, for a good portion of this episode, I want to talk about something I've been thinking about. So, you remember the game Among Us, right?
Oh, don't even get me started.
You know how you reacted to me just saying that, Among Us? that, that's a game that has become such a phenomenon in the world of pop culture that whenever anyone says it, even in a sentence, because Among Us is something that people say when talking about something is like with us or like among us.
You literally can say the two words Among Us together in any context and it instantly becomes a meme. That's how
Instantly,
much of
people think about the game.
that's
and
how
a lot
much of a
people-
meme this game is. And I want to say
Yeah.
I want to say if you don't know what Among Us is, but honestly, if you don't know what Among Us is, why are you watching that? What are you doing on the internet if you don't know what Among Us is?
He doesn't mean that. He loves all of y'all. Because he himself should not be talking for being uncultured about something.
Okay, but like, there's a difference between being uncultured and not knowing what Among Us is.
All right, fine. What do you say? But basically, I bring all of that up to, here's what I want to do with you. I want to go through.
Whoa! Where are we? What are we getting into here?
I'm okay. Look. I did not mean it like that. Get your mind out the gutter.
My mind lives in the gutter.
Yeah, see, what I got put up with every day or every week.
What do you mean every day?
Look into my eyes. Do I look happy to you having to deal with this?
Yes. You look like you are filled with joy. You look like you are most excited to be here. What are you gonna do with me, Will? Tell me. Enlighten me.
I am going to continue the segment. What I want to do was portion of the episode. I want to look at try to come up with common sayings that people say every day, and come up with a game around it that also turns into a meme. To where if someone says it, they instantly think of the game, and it's just like, oh, meme. In the same way that Among Us turned into a meme. So, an example that I came up with when thinking about it is, the phrase or saying, whatchamacallit?
Yeah. I don't hear it used that much anymore, but I know, like, what it means.
That's something people will still say. It's like, it's the thing or whatchamacallit. Something like that.
Yeah.
My idea is it's going to be a game called whatchamacallit, and that game is going to get popular to the point where if anyone hears it, it's like, oh, meme. It's like, oh, it's the game.
It's the game.
So what would whatchamacallit the game be like?
I don't know.
Do you have any ideas?
It gives me like one of those like family board game vibes. Like like the party games, the party games that you see in
have a
like
party game vibe to it.
like you bought it from Walmart or Dollar General, and it's just like one of those oddly named party games from like, I don't know, Hasbro or something. That's like fun for the whole family, ages 8 and up.
Yeah,
And then they have like
that vibe. I will say
they have like the weird commercials for it on TV too, advertising it.
Our brand new family game, whatchamacallit. In this game, you gotta pick up a card and you gotta describe it to the other people, and you have to describe it as a whatchamacallit. Buy it from your Walmart now from Hasbro.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think of when I think of a game called that.
And I would not be surprised when we go throughout this episode if we say an idea on a name that that's already being used for a game. Like, it would not surprise me at all.
Now I'm gonna go Google whatchamacallit.
Because one, like, let me tell you something. One trip to something like Books A Million, and you go to the games section, will show you there are some weird games that are like just there.
I just
knows
remembered.
of.
I probably am stupid for not realizing this. There is a candy bar called whatchamacallit.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Actually,
I didn't know that.
that's the Wikipedia page for it.
I didn't know that. I'm just like running through like sayings that people say, you know. It's something that people say often, but they don't really think about it. You know what I mean?
It's not that I didn't know what it was either. Like
Right.
I just forgot that it existed until I looked it up, and like yeah, I just remember there's a candy bar. Like it's this current thing too. Like you can walk into any grocery store and find it.
Oh wow.
It's like
So here's what we need to do now. We need to make a commercial for that candy bar and turn it into a meme. That's what we need to do. Forget making a game on it. We need to make a commercial.
yeah, we need to turn it. We need to make something like the Whopper commercial, but for the whatchamacallit.
Yes. Yes. We're going to breathe new life into this company that's not even paying us. Why?
You were gonna breathe new life into the company. The candy bar is produced by Hershey.
For the meme.
We're gonna breathe new life into the Hershey company.
For the meme, yes. The title of this episode is just going to be Will and Steven helps out company that's not even paying them. Why? Just for the meme.
Just for the meme.
Yeah. Alright, so whatchamacallit was an idea that flopped. How about something else? Think of a saying that people say in the same way that it's kind of like an idiom, but not really, because Among Us is just a common saying. English. You know what I mean?
I don't know about common, but yeah.
It's semi-common. How about that? I don't know the tier. I don't know the hierarchy of commonality between English words. All I know is Among Us is something that people said before. And the main tagline in the game is "There's an imposter among us," which, by the way, imposter was a regular word before the game too. That also has now become a meme where if you say it, people will automatically think of it.
Or the term sus, which is literally just shorthand for suspicious. Which was also a normal word. Which the full word suspicious.
I was almost about to say people weren't saying like sus, but now that I think about it, people were saying sus.
Well, it's like the full word suspicious is still kind of normal, but like if you try to, because like that's a lot of syllables and a lot of sounds that don't really go together.
Yeah.
So if you try to shorten it and just say sus, suddenly it's a meme.
That's what people were doing, because when people were first playing Among Us, it was one of the things where a lot of people were playing it on like text. They were like typing in like the chat, like call people out as suspicious, and a lot of young people don't know how to spell it because it's a semi-hard word to spell without like something like Google. So they just shorten it to sus because it's just SUS. Boom. So I think that's why
it's just shorter. It's better to type 3 letters than however many letters.
So that's why it came like more of a norm to say sus rather than suspicious when typing it out. If you didn't have a mic or something.
Nowadays, even in like normal conversation, people say sus more than suspicious. I think like they'll say like something is pretty sus when it's
that's pretty sus.
Yeah, like what I said at the beginning of the episode or at the beginning of this segment when Will introduced it. That was pretty sus.
I wasn't trying to be sus. I was just trying to introduce. I was trying to be a podcaster and try to introduce our topic. That's what I was trying to do.
But Will, you said it in a way that was sus.
I didn't mean for it to be sus. I apologize. But yeah.
Guys, I think Will is the imposter.
No, we had an episode on this. I don't have it, but the Among Us plushie,
the Among Us plushie.
But yeah. For those who haven't watched that episode, they probably have no idea what we're talking about right now. Just bringing up a plushie.
Yeah, just go back to I think it was episode 7 or 8. It's actually in the thumbnail, but basically it was like something that he was getting his sister.
And I think I called it
Christmas or
"Imposter
something.
Joins the Podcast."
Yeah, you did.
In the first minute, that was the imposter joined the podcast, and then he was never in it ever again.
Yeah. He joined and then he immediately left.
Yeah. All right, so let's say something else. One other thing that people say a lot of times is it's like, let me think. I'm trying to think of something else people say. Just like, hey, yo, that's fire, dude.
That's fire.
Then we're gonna make a new game called That's Fire. Where what would that game be about based on that name?
It would be about it would be like a talent show game. It would be a Roblox game, like a Roblox talent show game. One of those, you know?
Very specific, saying Roblox, but
because Roblox is the place where I think of like finding those type of games. Like if you've ever seen like Roblox games where it's like a talent show and you're supposed to like go and do that.
It's been a minute since I've played Roblox, so you're gonna have to explain to it. To me
I
don't remember
I'm not
there ever being talent shows on Roblox. I always remember just typhoons and FPSs on there.
I'm not exactly qualified since I've never actually played
As
one,
anyways.
but I know they exist.
A Roblox talent show. What would you even show off in Roblox? Just how fast you can
I don't know.
build something?
I don't know. I've never played one before.
What do you do in a Roblox talent show?
I don't know. I'm not qualified to discuss this topic.
Then why'd you bring it up?
I didn't make it up. That's a thing that exists.
I said, why did you bring it up?
Oh, I don't know, because you asked for a game called That's Fire, bro.
Okay, alright. Let's say Roblox talent shows exist and they beat out America's Got Talent in ratings. What would That's Fire, bro, be? Like what type of talent are you showcasing in which the judge would say, that's fire, bro, or that's not fire?
I don't know. Dance, rap, singing. I don't know.
Again, how do you do this in Roblox? Because as far as
I don't know.
Do you even have mics?
I don't.
Do you have chat rooms in Roblox?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
This was a stupid idea.
Hold on. Let's move past Roblox. Let's say this is a talent show. It's a new Fox show on Fox, because Fox have a ton of talent shows, and they come up with a new show called That's Fire. They have dance competition. They have singing competitions.
We have moved beyond the realm of games.
I mean, if you think about it, talent shows are kind of like a game because there's competition.
I mean, not if you're on America's Got Talent, because, you know, that's probably scripted and all that.
Okay, you know what? That's a good point. I give you credit for that one. That's a good point. All right, let's move back to what this was talking about. Whether it be a video game or a board game called That's Fire. Let's come up with a concept for it, in which it's the type of game that people will actually play, and something that could reasonably blow up on the same level that Among Us blew up, in which everybody got together and played it because it was one giant meme. That's the entire concept of this. Trying to find common sayings that people say and turning them into memes. So if that's the case, then I feel like
it's something that you can't really force to happen. Like if you try to come up with something like that, like we're doing, it's just gonna be destined to fail. Memes just kind of happen on their own.
Right. And I'm not saying we're gonna turn it into memes, but I'm just saying what has the potential in an alternate universe where Among Us, the game, was never created. That's, I guess, what I'm just trying to say. All right, and we're back. Just had to take some phone calls. So let's try to come up with one more game idea for this for this concept of taking an everyday saying like Among Us and turning it into a meme that comes from a game. So, do you have any ideas though of like
I
people
was
of like?
I was trying to think of one, but I can't really think of like say because like if you think about it, Among Us isn't really a saying necessarily. Like it's a phrase that people use, but it's not like it's hard to explain. It's like
Right, it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's not super common, but it's like if someone said it, you would understand the meaning of it right away.
yeah, like it's not something that's like it's not a cryptic like not crypt. I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Um. So let me
My
try to think
camera
of one more thing.
defocused
Let's
again.
let's come up with. I think what we'll do is we'll come up with a scenario, and we'll see if a saying could come from that. So let's say you're at the gym. I know this is unrealistic for you, but let's say you're at the gym.
What do you mean by that?
So let's say you're at the gym and you're about to head in, but you forget like a towel that you need to like wipe off sweat or whatever, and then you see and it's like, oh shucks, I gotta go back and get my towel.
Oh,
How about we do that? How about like we're gonna have a new game called Aw Shucks.
No, you know what I think?
don't
You know what
know.
that immediately no, you know what I immediately think of? I think of the game Sorry. And I feel like it would be something like that.
You know what? How about that? You know what? We're gonna have a game called Aw Shucks. Now let's come up with a concept for that game.
It's just gonna be Sorry, but if Sorry was a video game instead of a board game.
So how about we have a video game where you go around committing crimes, but
So
then
GTA.
but when the police shows up, you just say, "Oh shucks, did I do that?"
Did
Yeah,
I do that?
There's gonna be a game where you have to commit crimes, but the worse the crime is, the harder you're gonna have to convince the police to let you go. So you have to go hard on the, "Oh shucks,
You
did
get
I do
no,
that?"
you get arrested and you get the officer in prison questions you and you're like, "Oh shucks." And you get taken to court and put on trial and you're talking to your lawyer before the trial and you're like, "Oh shucks." And then you go into the trial and you're up on the stand and you're making the case and you go, "Oh shucks." And then your lawyer comes up to defend you and he's pointing at all the evidence and he goes, "Oh shucks." And then the judge goes, "Oh shucks, not guilty."
Basically, we're trying to convince people based on we're gonna let's say we're a kid and we're committing crimes and we have to use that excuse, and there's like all these games you have to play in order to achieve success with that phrase, "Oh shucks." That's my $1 million game idea. If anyone steals it and ends up getting success with it, we are coming after you because you are a idea stealer.
He
Yes,
will
I'm talking to you specifically.
he will sue you just like Nintendo.
Oh yes, I will be Nintendo in that moment.
You dare copy my game idea?
That we're not making, so we're holding hostage on that idea. So so yeah, that's our idea. That's our little game, and as when it comes to points, Steven, you earn none.
Why? I was the one who came up with the idea.
You weren't able to come up with a saying.
I don't care. I use sophisticated English, okay? I don't use sayings like "aw shucks."
Okay, I will admit this is one of those games where like you said before, you can't force a meme to happen. It just kind of has to happen. But I think the point of what I was trying to do was trying to come up with a scenario where something else, in an alternate universe where Among Us was never created, that something else based on a game, based on a common saying, could become a big game. To the point where if people say it, they'll immediately think of the game. That was my intention. In the future, we'll try to have, come up with better games and better, I guess, mind activities or mind exercises like this, if you want to call it that. Because I tried to make Steven think. Use his brain.
What brain?
I know you got a brain in there. I need to just reach in there and grab it.
Nah. See,
utilize
look,
it.
I'll show you that I don't have a brain in here. Look.
What is he doing? He's removing his brain. No!
There's nothing to remove. There's not a brain in there. It's empty.
Oh yeah, one other thing I want to do is I've told you before, you Steven, but I'm trying to tell the audience this. I'm trying to create clickbait moments. Basically, I'm gonna go through the entire episode and I'm gonna select a particular moment where like something crazy happens, and then we're gonna put our intro song, like our intro sequence there, and then start the episode, and then boom. Instead of just starting the episode just like, hey, yo, what's up? Yeah.
Are you still doing the like coming up on To Whom It May Concern?
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm doing. Just like a little sneak preview of what the episode is going to be. Except not really. It's just going to be back to what we did during the Who days.
This reminds me of this reminds me of back when my dad used to watch Top Gear, back when that was a thing. And like every episode of Top Gear, they would always have like an intro that said like one thing throughout the episode that each of the three guys that was on the show was gonna do at some point in the episode. And they're always like, on today's episode,
I'm going to murder my friend with this wrench. And then it cuts to the beginning of the episode and none of it happens.
It was like in this episode, James crashes a car into a tree. Hammond sets a house on fire. It's like crazy things like that.
Alright, let's create a fake one right now. Steven, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I accidentally dropped acid in the school lunches today. Oh man, oh shucks, this is so tormenting to me. The repercussions of my actions.
Will, what are we gonna do with you? Think of the kids, Will. The kids.
I'm sorry, man.
Like you really will. Like, come on, use your brain. Will. Like, do you think that they test these lunches before they feed them out? No, Will. No, they do not. These kids are going to be eating acid, and there's nothing that we can do about it. You monster.
Go to intro. Go to intro. That's the perfect intro. Just me admitting to a crime of dropping acid, which this doesn't even look like acid.
That's a bottle of NyQuil.
I don't know. This is just allergy relief that goes up nostrils, just like.
Yeah, you gotta snort it. You know, give it a nice little. I guarantee you somebody.
We promote drug use on this channel. No, we don't.
I guarantee you somebody at some point has gotten high off of allergy medicine. Actually, one time I googled something about Benadryl. Like I was googling like I think.
Oh yeah, there was like a challenge called the Benadryl challenge, which was basically just taking a bunch of Benadryl.
Yeah, I just like reason. All I was googling was like something about what it did, like if it was good for a particular use or something like that. And like I googled it, and like the top like 2 or 3 results on Google was just people asking if Benadryl could get you high. I'm just like, does Benadryl help with insert some condition? And Google that, and then Google's just like, nah. Can I get
Google's
high
like,
off of
stop
this?
smoking Benadryl. Why do you keep asking?
So yeah, apparently getting high off of Benadryl is a thing. And from what I read,
And we do not support drug use.
from what I
Guys, you need
read,
to stay healthy.
from what I read of people like answering the questions that people were asking, apparently Benadryl is like really, really weird to get high off of. Um, to be fair, I've never been high off of anything.
Weird as in it gives you a weird high, or weird as in it's weird to get high from it?
No, it gives you a weird high. I don't know. I mean,
That is information I will only keep right here, and I will never test it out.
yeah, obviously I've never been high off of anything, let alone Benadryl.
Yes, we
but...
are both law-abiding citizens.
So I don't know what
I mean?
it's like to be high, so I can't really compare it to anything. But apparently people say that it's like, I don't know. I heard some people talking about how they hated it, and some people said it was like the best thing ever. I don't know.
It's different for everybody. From what I understand, it's essentially just like, I don't even know. For everyone, it's different. It's just like,
Yeah. The moral of the story is don't get high, kids.
right. Or if you do, just don't OD. That's all I can say.
Just don't get high. I once had my roommate get
Right.
drunk, and yeah, that was fun. Anyway.
Yeah. Just be smart out there, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean?
I think he said I think he said 6 was his limit. He like basically his parents came over and then like they were visiting and they had alcohol and they left a bunch of it with him and he drank it. I think he said like 6 beers. So
That's crazy. Alright, so moving on to the next topic. Banjo getting high from aside. I want to talk about a little bit about this thing that I noticed about YouTube comments. Now, we've talked about YouTube comments before.
yes. I still remember and I'm reminded of it every time that I look at a YouTube comments section. But it was a topic we had in a previous episode where Will was basically talking about go to any YouTube video, any video on YouTube, literally open up YouTube, click on the first video in your recommended, and open up the comments section. I guarantee you within the top few comments, you will find somebody starting an argument.
Yes. Now, in that episode, we were talking about comment replies. But this time around, I'm talking about something else. So, when it comes to YouTube, for the past few years, these what am I term I'm looking for? Video essays have blown up in popularity. Like video essays on like companies, on games, on like the history of stuff, like the rise and the fall off of stuff, and top of stuff like that. Basically, just stuff to like binge watch or stuff to eat lunch to.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually don't know what you're talking about. I have not seen any such videos. Like I have seen like a couple of like the rise and fall of X type videos in the past, but I haven't really seen them be like super popular.
It's probably a me thing, like my algorithm, but I know a lot of other people also get this in their algorithm. English. But basically, these long form content. There's long form content on stuff, but it doesn't even have to just be that. It could be a lot of other videos that I've seen this with. When it comes to videos talking about something, I will go to the comments, the top comments, and a lot of the comments will basically just people reiterating what the person in the video is already saying. Like, for example, let's say the video is talking about why murder is bad. Just plain simple, murder is bad. You'll get a lot of top comments where people are like, murder is bad. Basically worded in a different way, just reiterating the points that the person in the video is making. Have you seen something close to that happen?
I've seen like people in the comments agree with with the people in the
Right.
video. Like
Right.
it'll be like the videos about something, and then it'll be the person in the top comments is like, yeah, I totally agree, and then they'll tell like some personal story about like the topic and something like that. That's kind of the closest thing that I've seen.
Right. But I'm more talking about just like, yeah, people do that as well. Like they'll add their own personal story. Like as a so and so person, I agree this is true.
Yeah, yeah, something like
I
that.
agree we do, but I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm talking about like just videos where you could just read the top comment and it basically summarizes the entire video and like all the points. And basically it's like why watch the video anymore when you can just look at the comment to see what the video talks
Oh,
about. And
you
it's
know what
just
this
like
reminds me of? It's not exactly the same thing, but it kind of reminds me of how there'll be like song videos or music videos, and there'll be people in the comments posting the lyrics. And it's funnier when like there's already lyrics in the description, because sometimes people who post music videos will have the lyrics in the description, and there'll still be somebody in the comments that posts the lyrics, even if they're already
they're just
there.
trying to get likes on that comment. That's what a lot of it comes down to. Just getting traction.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same thing as like, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's kind of similar, I guess.
It's a similar something people will do just like get a comment traction on a video. Because like getting likes on a comment and getting a top comment, it's fun. It's one of those things that a lot of people want to do, and it's like I'm not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying it's just something where it's just like if you're literally just reiterating the points the person is making without adding your own like opinions on it, just to get a top comment. It's just like I don't know. It's just something. It's a little weird, but that's all it is. It's just a little weird. I'm not saying don't do
Yeah,
it.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying
I feel like
it's at the very least something you can observe or
it's
make
a
an
classic
observation on.
case. It's a classic case of people on the internet seeking attention. It's just they're seeking attention in a way that's not necessarily harmful to other people. It's just kind
Right.
of like a passive way of getting attention.
Yeah. But it's just something I've observed. It's just something I find fascinating. Just like, especially with how comic sections work in general, where it's just like, once you post a comment, then your channel could also get clicked on. And if you're treating your content like your own job, then that's essentially just like,
Advertising.
well, not even as a job, but like something you want to have attention towards, then the comment isn't even talking about the video no more. Like that's what people are doing, but there's like a separate reason, which is to try to draw attention to your own channel. And that's just so fascinating to me because comment sections in like other places of the internet, like on news blogs or other stuff like that, they work more like comic sections where it's just like people commenting on the topic in question or the article in question. But I don't know. It's just again nothing wrong with it. Just something I've observed over the years. And people have always had a unserious approach to comment sections. Like that was all.
Yeah,
It's always been like
that's
this.
yeah.
And it's like as long as it's being used like kind of for fun and like not spraying hate or anything, then I'm okay with it. All right.
Waiting until YouTube gets rid of comments because of negativity. Just like they got rid of the
Much
dislike
like
button.
how they did with like getting rid of the dislike count. On
Yeah,
videos.
exactly. They got rid of they got rid
Bro,
of the
the
dislike
day
counter.
they removed comments, oh man.
Like I
what
know
could happen?
I know
Bro,
you
what
can
could happen?
I know you can turn off comments for videos, but like I'm just waiting for YouTube to just get rid of them entirely.
Oh, if they do that, that's not gonna last long.
That
Or
is
at least it's like
that's gonna be
there's
what
gonna be
kills
a
the platform.
ton of backlash. Like the getting rid of the dislike count had already came with a lot of backlash, but getting rid of comments is gonna be like 20 times worse because a lot of enjoyment comes from leaving a comment and like being active in like a community, responding to stuff. And yeah, a lot of negativity can come from it, but it's just like so can anything else you do on the internet, or just anything else
Yeah.
you do in real life. It's
I
just
mean,
like
there's
it's always
negativity.
gonna be
There's
there.
negativity anywhere, right? Like getting rid of the content
So it's
comment
just like
section
try
doesn't
and get
really.
rid of something altogether just to avoid that. It's like
Yeah.
that
I'm not
that's not
like I
gonna
said.
fix
I'm
the
not.
problem.
I'm not saying YouTube should. I certainly don't think that they should. I think getting rid of the comments is a stupid
Right.
idea. I'm just saying watch them actually do it.
I wouldn't put it past them to do it. To be fair, like I wouldn't put it past them to do it.
Anyway.
I mean, as for us, we get no comments at the moment anyway, so it's just like it is what it is. You know what I mean? All right.
Yeah.
But how long have we been going on for right now?
We're at 20 minutes, and then the other part that we spliced was like also 20 minutes. So.
All right. I think one more topic should do as well. This is a conversation we had with someone else not too long ago during the break, and the question is: do professional football players make too much money? And like professional players in general, like
I remember
football,
this
basketball, like basically the professional level. Do they earn too much money?
In my opinion on this, what I said, because this was actually a question that we were asked. I forget when. I actually forgot who we were talking to at the time, but
I think we were talking with
okay about
about players earning too much money.
Anyway, I remember the question, and I remember saying like, basically so the argument again, the argument for them making too much money would basically be like pointing at the millions of dollars that teams pay them to come play, and saying like, oh, professional football players are making like more money than like any kind of professional job or something like that. Like even management positions don't make as much as professional sports players. And so they're saying like, sports players are privileged or something like that because they have really high salaries. But what you have to remember is that the reason that professional sports players make that much money is because teams are throwing money at them to come play for them. Because these professional, what they're paying for is talent. Because professional sports players are obviously very good at the particular sport that they're playing. They have a lot of talent, and they can, work well with a team. They can be a very valuable asset to a team to, win and stuff like that. And as it happens, when a team does well and has more popularity, they tend to make more money because they get like more airtime and stuff like that. And also any success tends to make teams more money because of stuff that happens. I don't really know the details. Anyway, teams want to do well because it's good for teams to do well. And so the reason
comment of the century. It's good for teams to do well because it means they do well.
So in order,
I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
In order for teams to do well, they need to have good players. And so in order to get those good players, so like the way that the NFL works, right? You have usually people who played in college, who like graduate from college and like they decide that they want to be professional players, so they go into the draft. And the draft is just like a list of all the players that are available, and then each team like takes turns picking which players they want from the draft. And there's going to be players that are more desirable than others. And there's going to be players that like multiple different teams want. And so these teams, it's basically competition, right?
For example, like of how important this is, one of the NFL teams called the Texans, they've been regarded for the longest time as being one of like the worst teams. But just last year, before this current season, they drafted a rookie QB named CJ Stroud, and right now they are in the playoffs. Like one star player, one talent can completely shift the entire team's quality from being bad to being in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So it's not something to that you should undermine the importance of getting talent. And one other thing I want to make a point of is a common misconception about the professional league, or rather, something that's overlooked is the fact that it is super rare for a player from the college level to move up to forget level. I forgot exactly what the statistic is. I'll look it up right now, but it's like rare.
Yeah. So, but basically, what happens is the reason that professional players are paid at the level that they are is because of economics. Because you can think of the professional players with talent as a resource, and it's a resource.
Okay. I looked it up, and according to this very first thing that popped up, the percentage of student athletes going pro is approximately 0.023%.
Yeah, because you have to think of the number of colleges and the number of players that each of those colleges have, and then the number of pro teams.
It is worth mentioning, by the way, this is going from high school to professional. When it comes to college to professional, that number can easily be higher, but still.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's pretty low.
But still.
And it's because there's not that many spots. But that's why only the best of the best actually.
Okay, I looked it up, and college to professional is 1.6. So yeah, that's still low.
But anyway, the reason why professional players are paid at the level that they are is because of economics. Professional football players, or any sports players for that matter, that are good and that have the level of talent that would be good for a team, and that, like Will said, could turn a team from being bad to being in the playoffs. That level of talent is very rare. It's a very scarce resource, and it follows that because those players have so much value. Lots of teams want them, so there's a very high demand, but there's very few of those players, so there's a very low supply. So it follows the law of supply and demand. When supply is low, there's very few talented players, and demand is high. There's a lot of teams that want those players. The price is going to be really, really high. So all these teams are basically throwing money at these players to get them to come play for them instead of going to play for the other teams. So it's a competition of price. Basically the teams are outbidding each other. They're seeing which team is going to pay the most money to get the player to come play for them. Because obviously the player is going to go play for whatever team is offering them the most money. Because they don't really care what team they play for in most cases. Some players might care. But most players are not going to care what team they play for, because they're one player.
But so long as they're there.
Yeah, so long as they're there and so long as they're playing the sport, and they feel like they're getting compensated reasonably for their talent, they don't care who they're playing for as long as they're playing. So teams,
as long as they make it to the professional league at all.
Yeah. So teams are basically bidding copious amounts of money to these professional players to get them to come play and incentivize them to come play.
For example, as you can see, I'm a Falcons fan, and our rival are the New Orleans Saints. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically the same dynamic as Alabama and Auburn. But if I was in college football and I was offered a position to play for the Saints, I would take it. That would be strung off the wall. I'm all for the Saints now because I get to play for them.
Breaking news: Will renounces his Atlanta Falcons fanship and is now a Saints fan.
No. I'm talking about if I were to play. I don't play. That's why I'm still Falcons forever.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm rooting for them for the year that they become good. We just fired our coach, Arthur Smith, so there's hope that we will be good. We need to get our own good quarterback. We need to draft our own star QB.
But yeah, that's why professional football players.
He's not cutting it. I'm sad to say he's not cutting it.
That is why professional football players and other professional sports players are paid as much as they are, because these teams
Yeah,
are very large commercial entities that have a lot of money, and they're willing to throw a lot of that money at these players to get them to come play for their team. And so
yeah,
that results in the players making a lot of money. So, yeah.
yeah. So that's but what do you say? Because we were talking about this to this individual, and I think she said something like the reason she doesn't watch professional football is because the idea of these players getting paid so much is like not something she's a fan of. Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, to be fair, it's not really up to them how much they get paid.
Right.
Like they could turn down an offer, sure, but I mean, why would you do that? Like
But
if you
I
want to,
guess
if you
I'm
want
talking
to play
about
the
more
sport,
like what do you feel about people saying they don't want to watch a professional league because of the fact that these players are
I
earning too much
say
money in
I
their
say
eyes?
that you deciding not to watch, like I would guess that the reason that they say that would be that they don't want to like support the idea that players are getting paid lots of money by like, by consuming the content that is being produced from the sport that they play. And to that I say, you're one person who watches out of millions of people who watch the sport, and who watch, like, even this one player probably gets viewed by millions of people. Your one view does not mean anything to these companies, and it certainly is not going to affect how much these players are getting paid. So, whether your decision to watch or not watch really does not change anything. So, yeah, that's what I have to say to
Okay.
that.
For me, anyways, it's just kind of like you know, if you want to choose to watch or not watch something based on your values, like that's fine.
Yeah.
But like,
Like
it's
I
just like
will
other
say
people are
I will
not
say
gonna.
full
I don't know.
disclosure, I will say I don't watch sports usually. College football is about the only sport that I watch. I don't watch any professional sports, and I really don't watch any sports outside of football. And that's not because I have a problem with players getting paid a lot. It's just because I don't really care that much.
Right. For me, anyways, it's just like I prefer professional sports rather than college level because, for one thing, it's my job to watch college and like film all that. So it's like I usually burn out of that. But secondly, for me, anyways, it's just fun watching like the best of the best do what they do at the professional level. Whereas, and it's like it's a more compact league of teams where there's only I'm pretty sure there's like 32. That number might be off. Like 32 teams that might be higher, maybe lower. Let me check real quick.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in football, at least at the college level, there's like
32. I'm right. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and in college football, there's like 150 something teams, I think, and that's just in the FBS division. And then there's also the whole FCS division that
Oh
has
yeah,
like,
there's a ton. There's like a ton
yeah,
out there.
there's
So
probably
for
like,
me,
hold on.
yeah, I think it's like I looked this up before. I think it's like in the 800 something football divisions and or football teams in college level. Like
Yeah,
they range
there's
in several different divisions.
I just googled it. There's 858 college
Right.
there's that many teams play at the college level. That's
And it's like so many
across.
divisions and so many yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it's a lot more digestible to just watch these 32 teams selecting from the best of the best from those 800 or so teams.
Yeah, and that's in across five different divisions. So that's like all the teams from all the colleges in the entire country. In the FBS, which is like the highest division and the one that people actually care about, there's only 134, which is still a lot when you compare it to the
Yeah.
NFL, which has 32. Oh, Will has departed from us. Will's internet has decided to leave the chat again.
They have playoffs today, so
Oh, he's back.
I was gonna watch. Oh, did I freeze up?
Yeah, you did. If you said anything within the last about 10 seconds, it didn't pick up.
Okay. Well, we're about to end our episode because I think we're about done. Thanks for watching. Let us know, by the way, if any of y'all want to leave a comment, what y'all think of the new intro and everything, because we're a lot more free form with this. We're going back to the old, just pick a topic randomly. We're just, yeah.
Yeah, Will even said there's a chance that we could go back to the very beginning where we just picked up a random object and decided to make a topic out of it.
Tape.
Tape.
The thing came out of it. Let's talk about tape. Nah, but yeah, thanks for watching. And as always, please like and subscribe for another episode of, say it with me, everybody, to whom it may concern.